I was asked yesterday which quarterbacks are on the hot seat. So I have a list, and I'm just going to go through them. And as I've said before on PFT Live, anytime a league-wide question comes up for me, I envision the standings in my brain. They're tattooed into my hippocampus or medulla oblongata or wherever in the brain, and I know I'm going to get tweets and emails telling me, well, actually, that's where it is. Wherever it is, here's what I have. AFC East, AFC North, AFC South, AFC West, NFC East, NFC North, NFC South, NFC West. All the teams in my brain, and I ran through them. Here's the quarterbacks who don't have any security beyond this year as a practical matter, which means they better play well this year or they're going to be gone or benched or with a new team in 2026. Justin Fields with the Jets, it's not a 2-year commitment to him. It's a 1-year commitment. Let's see what he can do. If he gets it done, he's back. If he doesn't, he'll go in a different direction. Tua, I know he's got 2 years of full guarantee. I think if the Dolphins fail this year and they hire a new coach, I think the new coach is going to want to move on from Tua. Tua is going to be too associated with failure by then, if they have another bad year. Too associated with failure to be part of the solution. And we saw what happened when he's coached hard. And I think the next coach will be closer to Brian Flores than Mike McDaniel on the hard-charging taskmaster, demanding type of head coach, which could cause Tua to maybe go in the other direction. In Cleveland, whoever the quarterbacks are, all of them, any of them that are on the roster are going to be on the hot seat this year because the Browns hold the Jaguars' first-round pick. And if the Browns decide after this season, let's just get a franchise quarterback in the draft, let's try that again, all of them could be gone. Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, they all could be gone by next year. Whoever starts, and we know how this is going to go, whoever starts is probably going to get benched at whichever point it becomes clear that whoever the starter is isn't helping the Browns be as competitive as they need to be. And then we move on to another guy, and he gets a chance, and another guy gets a chance. But that's why I think it's so important to get Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders real reps. Let's find out if they can be the answer. Because the broader question here is, what's the quarterback position going to look like in 2026? So they're all on the hot seat in Cleveland in 2025. Whoever starts in Indianapolis is on the hot seat. And both Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, starter or backup, they're on the hot seat. If it doesn't work this year, new quarterbacks on the depth chart for Indy in 26. Trevor Lawrence, I don't know. Is he on the hot seat? His contract might give him some guarantees, but Liam Cohen, you have new coach, new GM, new everything. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't get back to where he looked like he was in 2022 on an upward trajectory that maybe was going to carry him into the top 10, if he doesn't start making some progress there, new coach always wants his own quarterback. This isn't a Peyton Manning being inherited by Tony Dungy situation. This isn't a guy who has shown earmarks of shortlist franchise quarterback and the coach was fired for other reasons. Lawrence is part of the reason why there was a coaching change in Jacksonville and why Liam Cohen is now there to try to turn things around. So I'd kind of put him closer to hot than not. In the NFC, Russell Wilson, if he even is the starter week 1. I mean, I continue to be a firm believer that if Jackson Dart is as good as the Giants believed he was, because they traded back into the round to get Dart, back into round 1 to get Dart. If they think he's the guy, he should be able to beat out Russell Wilson at this stage of his career. It's plain and simple. It's basic logic. But if Russell Wilson is the starter, he's obviously on the hot seat. It's just a matter of time before it's the Kurt Warner, Eli Manning handoff. That's what happened in 2004, the last time the Giants had, well, Daniel Jones was a first-round pick between Eli Manning and Jackson Dart, but they have higher hopes for Dart than Daniel Jones. They want Dart to be Eli Manning. And Manning, ultimately, after 9 games in his rookie season, was on the field. In the NFC North, I don't know, is Jordan Love on the hot seat? He's got 2 more years of fully guaranteed pay. There's just a weird vibe now with the new president taking over later this month. And we talked about this recently at Policy. Doesn't want to do an extension with Coach Matt LaFleur or GM Brian Gutekunst before this season. So after this season, necessarily, it's either going to be extension or they're going to make changes. I don't know. Will Jordan Love be part of the changes? I don't know. I think he just needs to play a lot more like he did in 2023, late in the season, to earn that contract and cement his future. I wouldn't necessarily say he's on the hot seat. I'd say Trevor Lawrence is closer than he is, but I'm keeping an eye on it. Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy. By all appearances, they had a shot at Aaron Rodgers. They opted to ride with McCarthy. And I agree with that. Let's see what he can do. How many years do you give him to see what he can do? When you said no to Rodgers, and if Rodgers plays well in Pittsburgh, boy, that puts pressure on J.J. McCarthy. Will he get another year if it fails this year? Will they bring in real competition as a veteran for him next year if he fails this year? He's kind of, and it's a shame, he's never played other than one preseason game where he looked pretty damn good. I think the pressure's on. I don't know that it's hot seat. If it's not this year, it's definitely next year. But there's just pressure on him to prove that the Vikings got it right when they traded up from number 11 to number 10 to get him in the 2024 draft. Michael Penix Jr., I put him on the list with a question mark. I don't know that he's on the hot seat. This is his chance. This is his year. Let's see what he does. Then maybe next year. If it doesn't work this year, then maybe next year. I think it'll work. I think there's just pressure, but not heat. Bryce Young feels like a big year for him. Year 3. Feels like he needs to play like he did post-benching. If he regresses, Panthers may start looking at other options. And they'd have to admit they got it wrong when they traded up from number 9 to number 1 in the 2023 draft to get Bryce Young. Whoever wins the Saints starting job is going to be on the hot seat because the Saints have to be thinking about 2026. Now, I don't think Arch Manning is going to be in the draft next year. Maybe the Saints are thinking about 27. You know, the teams with the connections to the Mannings are the teams that are the most interesting when it comes to Arch. Although the Colts and the Saints are really the only ones right now that are going to be the most viable. The Giants have their guy in Jackson Dart. They got 2 years to figure it out, though, if Arch spends 2 years at Texas. The Broncos have their guy in Bo Nix. I think the Cowboys are one to watch, too, 2 years from now. A lot can change 2 years from now. A lot can change 1 year from now for any quarterback. Kyler Murray in Arizona kind of feels like the clock's ticking on him to earn that contract and maybe lay the foundation for a future. Sam Darnold, we know he's on the hot seat in Seattle. It's a year-to-year contract. And the last one, I wouldn't say Matthew Stafford's on the hot seat per se, but he's in a clear year-to-year arrangement that he's perfectly comfortable with. And after each year, the Rams are going to decide whether to continue. He's going to decide whether to continue. And if the Rams decide he's not playing up to the standard, then next year, especially with those 2 first-round picks, the one they already have and the one they picked up from the Falcons, maybe they make their move and they get their guy to replace Matthew Stafford. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.